Hi, this is Rachel Elrod, JFK assassination researcher, and I'm going to look at this newspaper because this newspaper was given to Richard by a lady who knew that he was obviously a researcher of some JFK stuff. So if we can just, this is hard evidence here. So we can just zoom in. I will show you that this is a newspaper printed on the day of the assassination. The Oakland Tribune, a California newspaper, Oakland in California. We turn over to page 2. Okay, and I'm just going to zoom in. Here is the date. Okay, and I'm going to come right down here to this photo here, which is known as Altgen's 6. James Ike Alkins took a series of photos in the plaza of the assassination scene, and this is number 6. Okay, now we can see this character here in the doorway, and Richard did analysis, in-depth analysis into this photo, into this character, and he found 77 points of reference to say that this is Lee Harvey Oswald, unequivocally in the doorway at the same point that the motorcade is here. Here is JFK. So there is absolutely no way from this photograph that Lee Harvey Oswald could possibly be the assassin or an assassin of JFK. This completely 100% proves his innocence. Now, over the years, people have said that this character here is actually another employee called Billy Nolan Lovelady. It's not. Richard basically proved that with his 77 points of reference in relation to all kinds of things to do with the hairline, the lay of the shirt, the way that this character is holding his body stance. And Billy Lovelady is also in this photo here. This character here, when we zoom in this and we look at it on a computer, we know that this is Lovelady with his hands over his head here. Okay, and Lovelady was asked to identify himself in the doorway. He was asked to do that by the commission, and he put his pencil mark. Where do you think he put his pencil mark? Right here. And then they then tried to erase it off later. Okay, and Lovelady tells us in his written deposition that he was stood to the left of the doorway. Well, that's his left, not our left as we're looking at it. We always say where you're stood in relation to your own self. So if he stood in the left-hand side of the doorway, that's his left, which is this side of the barrier. Now, okay, it looks as though that some people are trying to say that this photograph was altered, was changed, was messed with. But what we've got to remember is that this version of the Altgen 6 photo is in this paper that's been printed the same day, and it has gone through the news wire. So from 12:30 to maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when this is going out all onto the news agencies across the world, really, across the country, there simply is not enough time to doctor any photos. You've got to remember, 1963 is the pre-digital age. They couldn't just click on a computer and shift things about and mess with the pixels or whatever it is they do. It would have been a much more tedious and long-winded job to literally cut and paste and all sorts of things like this. Now, here is the question. If you're going to mess with a photo because you think that, you know, you've got somebody that you don't want to fit in with your narrative and it proves their innocence, and everything else, what would you do? You would literally blank him out so that there could be no discussion about it, or you would suppress the photo. So this photo has gone onto the newswire without being checked. It's a mess up, a cock up basically of the work. Nobody realised when this went out that Lee Oswald was stood in this doorway. And that is why we've got the promotion of the idea that this is Lovelady, because the conspirators and everyone else who believes in the lone nut theory really are desperate to prove that if this is someone else and not Oswald, then the case is the fact that he may have done it. Well, because he is in the doorway, it's unequivocally the case that he was not the shooter, and that's the point. That's why the idea of the alterations are being held on to so strong, and the case for arguing that that's Lovelady is such a strong one. It's from that point of view, because this shuts down everything, and it opens up a load more questions, because what we're saying, of course, this is Oswald in the doorway not doing the shooting. So the question is, who did the shooting? And the answer is, whatever else the answer is in terms of individuals, there's a conspiracy. It has to be, because you completely destroyed the lone nut theory in one click of a camera button. And that's the truth. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. And I hope that helps. It's not a clear photo here. But Richard had gone in and done some very, very hardcore analysis on this photograph, so I can post you all of his analysis and his zooming in. He told me that he looked at every single pixel on this photo and blew it up into absolute depth. And he also told me that the way in which it looks strange with Oswald's shoulder here, and the black tie man stood, if you see, the man stood behind slightly to the shoulder, and Oswald's shoulder looks dipped, is the reason because this photo was taken by Ogden's way down the street, and it's on a strange wide camera lens, which Richard called the parallax effect. Okay, so it just bends space. Some of these people look like they are in front of the wall here of the building, when actual fact they are not flat to the walls, not like that. They're actually lining the street, and so it looks, the shapes and the effects look slightly strange because this is blown up from a longer distance, and that's what is going on there. So I just thought I'd explain that, just for some of us who are newer to understanding some of our research. So thank you. Bye.